My dear children, good afternoon. We can continue our English story, Mr. Tick the Teacher. Teacher will read the pages for you. Children, as you all know, when the inspector visited the school, the children of Mr. Tick's school were working in different groups. We all know that the children who worked in different groups were the same children, the 6 children of Mr. Tick. But our inspector couldn't identify that. The children which he saw in different groups were the same children. He thought that there are a lot of children in Mr. Tick's school. You see this picture. Teacher will read you this page. Then the inspector had a cup of tea with the cook. Can you guess who she was? And he said, well, Mr. Tick, there is no need to close the school. You have plenty of children. Then he took hands with Mr. Tick and said goodbye. Okay. Then he shook hands with Mr. Tick and said goodbye. Okay. Then the inspector had a cup of tea with the cook. See, this is cook and this is inspector. Can you guess who she was? He is having a cup of coffee and this is cook. Can you guess who is this? This is our Mrs. Tick. And what is she holding? She is holding a roller pin. She is making chapatis. She is making chapati, and you can see a bowl of curry is there. Coffee pan is there. Coffee. She made coffee, and some pots are here. Some saucepan kept on the hanging on the wall, and you can see many things in this picture. What is she wearing? She is wearing a dress, and over that she is wearing an apron. She is wearing an apron, and she is wearing a hat also. And Mr. Inspector, this inspector is holding a cup of tea. He is having the tea. Then see, and he said, well, Mr. Tick, there is no need to close this school. After seeing all the groups, he said, well, Mr. Tick, there is no need to close this school. You don't want to close this school. There was an order. What was the order? All the small schools should close. If there is if there is not enough children, they want to shut down the school. Now there is no need to close the school. You have plenty of children. Then he shook hands with Mr. Tick and said goodbye. See, shook hands means shake hand, giving shake hands. Then he shook hands with Mr. Tick and said goodbye. His inspection was over, and he said goodbye to the Mr. Tick, and he went from there. Okay. You want in today your work is you want to write about 3 sentences about this picture. You want to write 3 sentences about this picture. I have already explained to you what are the things you can see in this picture that you can describe or you can explain. 3 sentences you want to write it in your English notebook and take the photograph and send to me.